The year is 2009, and pop culture's going buck wild over the newest sensation. What is her name? Nadia Suleiman. Everyone's going buck wild because she just had 8 little babies. And they've announced that her name is now the Octomom. And this is the Every FNFF podcast.
I had no idea where you're going with that.
I also want to say that in the lead up for this, in that primo fucking gag that I just did and stumbled over completely, I had to look up how to pronounce her name because I wanted to try and pronounce it correctly. And I found this pronunciation.
It's pronounced Octomam.
Yeah, well, pronunciation is very important on this podcast, but I found this website that has it. It's very weird. It's called forvo.com, and it's like you search by words, but it has her name, and I hit play, and the soundbite fucking cracks me up because it's just some no one has voted on this. I guess it's like I could have pronounced it wrong because of this source, but you hit play and it just says like Nadia Suleiman. And then, like, whoever recorded it just didn't cut out the end of it where they, like, bang into their mic, so it's just an awful noise. It's just like a fucking, like, big exhale into it. I'll send it to you guys so you can hear it. Just Nadia Suleiman. Boom. Anyway, I'm Carl. This is a Final Fantasy podcast, not a pop culture from when I was 19 years old podcast. Anyone remember the Octomom? Hello, fellow kids.
I'm Curtis, and this is actually a pop culture podcast from when I was 8. What did we say? 95. Wait, what did we say it came out?
Oh my god, I do not 91. Remember.
91. I was 4.
Version? Which version of it?
Oh yeah,
true.
good point.
It is kind of a pop culture.
You could just name any age, and probably a version of FF4 came out.
Yeah, that's true. You can throw a rock through time and
That's Final Fantasy IV. Time.
Who's that talking?
Oh, this is Alex.
Hello,
all right.
That's all of us. If we have any new listeners, I would like to know why. But I don't think we ever really even did like an intro kind of thing to be like, hey, we're a Final Fantasy book podcast. We kind of just assume people know
it's
that
not a book
by now.
podcast, but it's a book club style
book
podcast.
Club style podcast. See, that's why Alex is producer, because he knows how to make words good.
Alex, I want to make an announcement that we of something that that you did, and we never announced it officially. But if you're a Twitch streamer, get better Twitch TV and then download Sin Jam made by Alex. It's incredible.
And welcome to Sin Jam.
Every now and again, I check its page on BTTV and I see like how many people have downloaded it and are using it. And I'll be like, oh, I don't know that person. I need to go to their stream and just type Sin Jam.
Yeah, just only Sin Jam.
Yep.
It's like that time Mutsky said he went into someone's stream, I think, and just posted like GLHF. And like, the person who like read that was just like, did you just tell me good luck, have fun? It was like kind of like there was some animosity. So Mutsky was like, okay, I'm just not going to chat in here ever again then.
It's incredible. How dare you?
How dare you try and have fun?
That is the last thing I would want to do getting on stream. I've been streaming all day. I'm tired of it. Done.
Oh yeah,
forever.
you've been doing some non-Final Fantasy speedrunning, and now you're the third fastest.
I'm the third fastest.
It's actually my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, my favorite Final Fantasy game, in which I'm the third fastest, is the not new, actually 95, Sailor Moon, Another Story for the Super Famicom. I made some terrible menuing errors today and screwed myself out of second. So anyway, you find yourself in a desert, and also you're Cecil.
And you have a new friend.
And you have a new friend or foe.
Whose family you slaughtered.
Yeah, whose family you fucking slaughtered. Whose town you burned down to the ground.
Yeah, and that's where we are, right?
Yeah. We were in a vast desert.
Except when I come up, it doesn't look like a vast desert to me. It just looks like a normal valley.
Yeah, so I think we might have talked about the valley last episode where we left off, where Titan came out and flexed real cool, and then
Titan do be flexing.
Ushered a rend into the earth, preventing us from going back to the Chocobo Forest, and And we wake up in like a little meadow right after it, and I think Cecil is just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna protect this girl or whatever, and no longer slaughter for the king, and then we can kind of move around the world map.
Kane's
then
missing.
We find the fucking desert. Oh yeah, Kane is missing.
The desert's just the northeast of where we wake up.
Yeah. But there's really nothing else in the desert except for this oasis. It's not too far away, right? Like we pretty much walk right to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it is the town of
I actually
Kaipo.
missed it.
Did you miss it?
Yeah, I was
no, Alex.
complete idiot.
Oh, did you
and
just go right to where like the next?
No, I had to go find it again, but like I just somehow did not see on the map. I just went north and then to a cave. I'm like, well, I can't go any farther. I gotta go back to.
Well, look, we can talk about it now. We can talk about it later. But I feel like this is a good jumping off point for this. That if you're playing the 3D versions and you're not on easy mode, I guess if you're on like the DS version or hard mode on Steam, there's various encounters that you can get in the desert. And the 3D one introduces rare encounters. That each area has like a rare encounter you can get.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the one in the desert
you get shiny sword rats.
I don't think there were sword rats in the desert. I didn't see any.
There are.
Are there?
Oh, okay. Are they shiny though?
They're not shiny, but there is a sandworm. The fucking
oh shit, that's awesome.
So Muad'Dib Cecil, you can yeah.
It looks like something from Rick and Morty. It's very goofy looking.
But I fought it, and this is after I had saved. I've gone to Kaipo already and saved and everything, but it can just one-hit KO the whole party, which right now is just Cecil if you're out there by yourself. So, like, don't do what Alex did and miss Kaipo. Go right to Kaipo, because you don't want to run into this dude. He will ruin you.
Unless you have Shooting Star with Auron in your party, you probably don't want to run into it, because it's a bit of a damage sponge.
Yo, first of all, it really is a damage sponge too, and but when it finally attacked, I mean, it did like 600 damage to all my characters, and I was like, oh my god, like that's times more than my max HP.
There's also, I guess, goblins and desert Sahagin, which I guess are just like
some old friends, the Sahagin. I don't think they're called Sahagin in mine. In the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy quote unquote 2. I forget, my screenshot doesn't have what their actual name is, but it's Sand something.
Okay. But yeah, as soon as we get into Kaipo, the game takes over and it immediately guides us to the inn, right? And Cecil walks into the inn. Talks to the innkeeper, and the innkeeper's like, oh shit, like he sees that Cecil's beat up, he sees that this little girl's beat up, and is like, yo, just take a bed, don't worry about the charge, like it's free of charge, just use the inn. And so like Cecil's thankful, and he like tosses her into a bed, and then he goes to bed, right? And then we get a scene at nighttime, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
let's play.
Actually, hold on. I'm sorry. I out of order a little bit. Before nighttime, after he puts her in the bed, she wakes up, and he's like, "Oh, hey, are you all right? My name is Cecil. What's yours?" And she like is not talking to him, right? Like she's just saying ... to everything. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about your mom." And you're like, "Well, yeah.
Sorry about murdering your mother."
Yeah, and again, she doesn't say anything to that, and he's like, oh, well, I can't ask you to forgive me, but I will protect you, though. Like, I'm so sorry about that. Like, I'm going to protect you from now on. And then we go to nighttime, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a knock at the door.
Who's that?
In the middle of the night.
Must be a friend of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be a friend of theirs.
It's kind of a friend of Cecil's.
Yeah, in a way.
Someone just walks in.
I actually do like this scene. I thought it was, like, pretty intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, because it happens in the middle of the night. One of the other Baron generals come in with 3 guards. And they're like, oh my god, Cecil, I finally found you. Oh my goodness. Like, they were out looking for him. I guess they, like, saw the Titan thing happen or something like that. Some big explosion. And they've been looking for Cecil.
Yeah.
So it's like a little rescue operation.
Yeah, and Cecil says, wait, the king. So the general says, I'm here on the king's orders. All summoners of mist must be annihilated. Hand over the girl. And like the girl like just responds with like exclamation points.
Yeah, she's like, oh shit.
And Cecil's like, here you go. Now here's my return to glory. I love Baron and the king so much. No, fuck that. Cecil says no. And then the general just like I guess he like looks at his soldiers and he just goes like, kill him.
Yeah, no, it's brutal.
Seize him.
But this is like the moment where like Cecil's like cashing all in on going against Baron. Like at this point, he's truly fucked.
Oh yeah, he's like, no, fuck this shit. Like he sees the writing on the wall. He knows something's not right, and he's just like, I'm not gonna stand for this shit. I've done my maximum amount of war crimes that I want to commit, and I will witness no more war crimes from here on out.
Yeah, everybody gets 2. Yeah, so this battle is actually kind of interesting. I wouldn't really call it a boss battle per se. It's really just kind of like an encounter with normal enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's 3 soldiers and a general. And so I played this twice because I played it in the 2D and 3D versions. And in the 2D version, after I killed all 3 of the soldiers, the general immediately escaped. Right? Mm-hmm. So he just like ran away. And I was like, all right, I'm wise to your game. I know what's happening. I know what to do. So when I played it in the 3D version, I was like, well, I'll take out the general first. And so I took out the general first in the 3D version, and the 3 soldiers become confused as soon as you do that. That's such a cool
little detail.
I was like, oh, that's amazing.
That's really good. I don't know if that's the same in my version. I think it is, because I did the same thing. I played this on Super Nintendo first, and the only difference really is that it's like an officer instead of a general, which,
sure,
whatever, who cares. But I killed all the soldiers first, because I was kind of thinking, I was still in like Final Fantasy X mode, like, these MFs are going to use like high potions or like cast like reflect or whatever on Seymour. Like that was the kind of mindset that I had. And then he like retreated and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So when I was playing on my Vita with like the complete edition, I just went immediately for the general. I like wasn't even using darkness because I was like, I don't want to risk killing the soldiers. But I think I only had 1 soldier left, and then I went after the general. And he took a lot of damage. Like, it took more attacks than I was expecting.
Yeah, he's pretty tough. He's stout.
So he was much stronger than the regular soldiers, but took him out, and then I think I made short work of the other soldiers, so I didn't get to see that they get confused, which is brilliant. I love it.
It was amazing. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, whoa.
That's so
I will
good.
say this. As I've been playing, like I feel like the first 2 episodes, I might have been a little unduly harsh on the 3D version, but like it definitely has its quirks and things that I like about it that make it good.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah. But after the battle, the girl who we saved notices, sees what we did. We like defeated these generals to protect her. And so she does tell us her name, right? So this is Rydia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you are a murderer, but like the good kind of murderer.
Yeah. Now I can use you to murder my
dudes.
Enemies and not just my friends and family.
Right. But it's like, I know that for the late 2000s and like mid 2010s or whatever, the dynamic of all video games was like grizzled dad figure, and like a young girl was like all the games, right? Like, like everything was just that.
This is the Last of Us Final Fantasy edition.
Yeah, and this is like 1991, baby. We knew all about it way early.
I think I forget who said it, but I was either listening to a podcast or something where it was like, I guess, is that just a symptom of like the video game industry, like the heavy hitters in it, like reaching that age where like they might not have had like great relationships with their daughters because of how much they were working or something. So they just like sort of like inserted that like mentality into all video games at the time.
Right, yeah. Does Sakaguchi have something he wants to talk about?
Yeah, but he waits until 7 to say it.
But yeah, so the next morning, Rydia joins our party, and we now have a party of 2. We have our first magic user, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Level 1, notably, level 1.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like real Earthbound hours. Like, you get a new party member and you're like, I'm so much stronger than them. And then you're like, oh, okay, but it's easy to level them up.
Yeah, no, she's real weak at first. Like, the first several battles I took her out into just was not useful at all. Like, couldn't hit enemies, was basically just dying all the time. But I guess, like, she's a kid, so...
So, before we move on from this scene in particular, since we were talking about the 3D version, Alex, I have a question for you. A little bit of a follow-up. What the fuck was that marshmallow thing that you were talking about? Did you find out anything more about that?
What town is this? Is this Kaipo?
This is Kaipo.
That's my favorite thing that Moogles say.
Kaipo. Yeah.
That's my least favorite thing to see someone in a Philly basement put on a Telecaster.
Kaipo. That's good.
There's some like additional dialogue just with like NPCs, I think, but it's basically just at least in the Super Nintendo version, it's like information that they're just throwing at us that we don't have any context for, which is just Tella has brought up his daughter Anna alone, but Anna ran away.
Yeah.
Thanks, stranger.
Yeah. But we do hear about the sage Tella for the first time in town.
Yeah.
We hear a couple things, actually. We hear that, like... Yeah. So right now we know that we want to get to Damsion. So that's the first time we've heard about that, too. I feel like the game doesn't really do a good job of explaining why you want to get to this kingdom, other than one line that Kane says where he's like, yeah, if we're going to go against Baron, we're going to need the assistance of all the other kingdoms. And that's it. And like, you never really understand why we're going to Damsion. But people talk about it. They say it's past the waterway and that there's an angry old man there. And we hear about the sage Tella who's looking for his daughter Anna.
I mean, we also don't really have a direct objective right now.
Right.
We will get one the more we talk to people, but that is also something that someone will give you a hint where they say, oh, I tried going through this cavern, but there was a grumpy old man who wouldn't let me pass.
Right.
So some of you may remember I was very confused when I was watching a walkthrough, just to kind of refresh my memory, that when Cecil and Riddy are passed out currently, there is a little like marshmallow man. Like it looks like a tiny little, like it almost looks like something for like a chibi, like cute version of like a ghost from Princess Mononoke or something.
Oh yeah.
So
you mentioned that.
I had no idea what that was, but so I was like talking around. So I was hanging around Kaipo, and then there's just a giant fucking chocobo near like a market spot at the top of the screen.
For the listener, we're looking at Alex's screenshots, which are real Carl Final Fantasy 1 hours of just taking a picture of the console that you're playing it on. And we were looking at this marshmallow thing, and then immediately he went to the next one, and it was just big chocobo on the screen. So that's why I laughed so hard.
Is this chocobo in your version or in the 3D Steam version as well?
It is.
I think he's like the placeholder of like a merchant or something like
Absolute
that.
unit.
But yeah, like you talk to him, this big fucking chocobo. He's like,
and the chocobo talks to you.
He's like twice as tall as Cecil.
He has two Cecil units tall.
But he's like, hey, there's something I can help you with, and then Naming Way, or I guess is it Mapping Way now, comes out and like gives you like a little tutorial.
Chatting
like, oh
way.
hey, but it's like in media res where it's like on a black screen. I was like, oh hey, how have you been? Making the most of the map it gave you? This time I thought I'd explain a little bit about White.
Yeah, WHYT.
White, I see.
And it's this cute little...
It kind of looks like fucking Jigsaw from Saw.
Yeah, he does.
Like a cute version.
Yeah, he's just like a little white figure with a red bow tie, like little squiggly cheeks. This little Eidolon is Rydia's partner. He can fight in her place in battle. Which is pretty neat.
Interesting.
You can train him by talking to Fat Chocobo.
Oh, he's smiling.
So this is like a Eidolon you can train and
weird.
Customize with attacks that your other party members have. He learns moves from other party members.
Oh, so he's kind of like a blue mage, sort of.
So you like train him like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
That's like cool. A Pokemon, but he can learn other enemy or like other things moves. That's weird.
And you can assign him abilities and stuff. In battle, he'll randomly assign abilities to use. Once you think he's ready, you can even put your White to the test in wireless battles against a friend. So you can like...
Okay. Yeah, that might be why I didn't see him in the Steam version, because like there's no wireless battles to be had.
That definitely seems like a Nintendo DS type thing. Like that's pretty cool though. I like that.
You do have the ability to find like clothes for him and draw a new face for him.
I love that.
God, that's
so the first thing I did.
Aw.
You made Sans.
Oh my God, that's so good.
So good. Yeah.
So it just looks like a weird Sans with a bow tie.
A naked Sans.
Nude Sans.
Nude Sans. Computer, can you generate a nude Sans? Does not compute. Nude Sans.
That's incredible.
That fucking rules. Holy shit.
This will be on the Instagram, definitely.
God, that's got to go in the fucking episode pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
We should just have that be like, you know how we always have like the logo of the podcast for every episode? Just this one time. We should use the face for the episode cover, like the art.
Listen. I know we have the Discord animated GIF thing for, and it's Titus laughing right now currently. I think we should just make this the new Discord picture, or at least like the banner or sticker or whatever the fuck they've added to Discord recently.
Sans white.
That's so good.
That's
But it's
amazing.
it's like Blanca from Animal Crossing. So you can,
That's so good.
Can you draw
dude.
faces on Blanca? I didn't know that.
no, I don't think she's in the new one yet, but like all the old Animal Crossings, you can draw a face for her if you met her like on a train or something like that, which is very cool.
Oh, that's sick. I do also want to point out in the Super Nintendo version, there's Kaipo's special. Above the inn, I think there's like a bar where, just, little set dressing, which is in a lot of towns. But there's a poster on the wall, and it says Kaipo's special refreshment for desert perched throats. And I think it's called like Desert Punch or something.
Is it? I don't think I actually went to the bar. I should have gone there.
That's usually the first place I go,
Oh yeah, sorry. You have to take the stairs up there. That's right.
Well, I'll tell you this. Speaking of naming way, in the house in the upper right corner, if you're playing the 3D versions, naming way is there as well. And so you see him again, and he's like, oh yeah, mapping didn't work out very well. I don't like mapping anymore. Or I guess he's mapping way now. So like, yeah. So he's like, yeah, I don't like mapping anymore. It's really not working out for me. I think I'm just gonna take some time off and try to figure out what I want to do. And it says mapping way has become living way.
That motherfucker.
Live, laugh, loving way.
Live, map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Naming.
Living way, laughing way, loving way. But he gives us access to the bestiary, so now we can actually like see the enemies that we fought up to this point.
Nice. So that is a baked-in feature on the complete edition, without like the naming way stuff. I guess because they didn't add the mapping way thing at that point. But
Sure.
pretty much immediately, I was like, cool, I got the bestiary, so I'm definitely gonna be looking at that because I love that in a video game.
I think the GBA versions of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 also have a BCR baked in. It's very, very nice.
So I don't know because it's been so long since I've played the 3D version of this game. But I have the feeling that every time we see naming way, it's gonna be something different, and I'm loving this.
I would fucking love that so much.
I'm loving it thus far. So I'm kind of like excited to see whatever's next with him.
That's good.
But yeah, for now he's living way.
But we find a familiar face in this inn, right? This is like this isn't even an inn. This is
Yeah,
like
in that building we do. So when we enter that building, if you go up to the top of the building, Rosa is in the bed there. And she has crossed the desert looking for Cecil and is feverish, right? So
She's got the desert sickness.
Yeah, the desert sickness. Yeah.
I think they call it like desert fever or something. I forget the specific name, so it's pretty funny.
She's down with the sickness. Ooh,
How did she get there before us?
Maybe she like climbed some mountains or something.
She's got a higher agility stat. She's got more speed than us.
Which means she must have passed us on our way to Mist.
Maybe Sid
we
gave
were
her
busy
a
destroying an entire town, That's true. Sid probably just gave her a ride. As we all know. Like
and then
Curtis
just
said.
dropped her off in the desert. It was like, all right, have a good one, bye.
Yeah, Sid's like
It's like
her
my
Uber.
experience with the first Fallout game. Just fucking just
Yeah, just
it
walk out into
immediately.
the desert and die.
As we all know from last episode, Rosa is Sid's daughter, like Curtis said.
No! I was wrong. She's not.
In that same vein, though, of like misconstruing like which characters are who or whatever, when you're walking around the town, I was the last thing I did in this town was find Rosa. But I was talking to a bunch of villagers in the Super Nintendo one, and someone just said like, someone picked up a sick girl from Baron falling down, and everyone just kept talking about a girl falling down. So I was like, okay, a girl fell down, and they're talking about how someone brought her here. Are they talking about Rydia and like me bringing her? And then I saw
I thought
Rosa.
they were talking about us.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense.
I mean, I feel like Zelda games like, hey, did you hear something such happened? Like, yeah, I just did that. That was me. Like,
yeah. And you're like, cool.
I'm so used to games where things don't change unless you do them, and everyone's always talking.
And
about
then
what you
people
did.
talk about what you did. Yeah, like, oh, did you hear Avalanche drop the plate and stuff like that? And you're like, that's what I was thinking too.
Yes.
Some other noteworthy things that just like rumors going around the town was the Damsian Castle in the north governs this area. The Crown Prince sings beautifully as a bard.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't mean anything,
The Bard Prince. Yeah.
Probably nothing to concern ourselves with.
Also, the person next to Rose's bed says that the cure is the sand ruby, right? Like, so that's part of what we want to do now is we want to find the sand ruby.
Exactly. And they also have discussions about an antlion that is guarding the sand ruby.
Right. And I guess that's now kind of our next mission, right? Is to find the sand ruby.
Yeah. Oh, there is one other NPC that I do want to talk about before we dive into more story bits, which is another one of those dancers.
I was hoping you were gonna go there.
Yeah. So in the Super Nintendo version, she just
say
says,
bird dance, say bird dance.
She says, I want to go to Damsian to be a dancer. Watch me dance. And then she starts to dance and just dives into the water.
Yeah.
And is doing like a synchronized swim version of the dance.
Yeah.
It's very good.
There's a little, I like that even on the SNES, there's just a little sprite of like 2 legs sticking up out of the water.
Yeah, but that also brings up something that I didn't know about until it was brought to my attention by Gamero Says, friend of the pod, who said that in the original Japanese versions before localizing it to the US, those dancers like stripped.
Really?
Yeah, there's like a video on YouTube that shows like the differences where they just like throw their dress like is like a sprite that like goes above them and then they're dancing
and
around.
they have like a bikini on.
Yeah, and they're just like dancing around and stuff, which is like a weird thing.
Free dance.
We don't allow any fun here, buddy.
Yeah,
not in America.
We can dance if we want to. Yeah, we got footloose rules here.
We can dance if we want to, but we have to leave our clothes on.
We can only leave our friends behind. We cannot dance if we want to.
Yeah.
Straight up footloose.
Yeah, footloose rules, right.
Oh, Curtis, did Rosa give you anything?
Yes, she did in the 3D version. We're introduced to the
augments.
The concept of augments, which is kind of like what they added to FF4 to make it, I guess, more customizable, because
there's no jobs, so
FF4 often gets shit about not being customizable, that everybody just is the level that they are. They learn what they learn when they learn it, and that's it. So augments are kind of a way of like putting a little something in there for customization.
So some Kimari shit.
Some Kimari shit. And the way that this works is there are several augments throughout the course of the game that you get through fulfilling certain requirements, right? And they usually teach your character a skill. So your character will have multiple skills. They'll have their attack, darkness, right, item, or whatever. And they can learn additional skills with augments, or even have properties. Like they might be like an MP plus 50% or something like that. And the one that you get from Rosa is Auto Potion. So you can give that to somebody. So early in the game, you have Auto Potion. Now, I was kind of scared to use Auto Potion because I was like, oh man, potions are expensive as fuck in this game. I don't know if I want somebody just throwing potions all the time.
Yeah, we can't use Auto Potion in this economy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I did give it to Rydia though, but
it's like Riku just fucking using holy water all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm saving those.
I never did see it though, this part of the game, so I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that's really cool.
But I did learn some crazy things about it that we'll get to later. There are so you can't get them all in one playthrough. You do have to do a New Game Plus if you want to complete it and get all of them. But if you give an augment to a character who is not going to be in your party, because spoiler, characters come and go in this game, right? If you give some augments to a character who then permanently leaves your party, you will have basically lost those augments forever. And you do lose those augments forever. Damn. But the game will give you some of that character's innate skills in return as augments. So like, let's pretend for a second that Cecil was going to leave our party at some point, like pretending, right? If we gave him an augment, when he left the party, he would give us darkness back.
Whoa, that's pretty sick.
And so basically you can use this as a way to get characters' innate skills on other characters. It's really interesting.
I feel like that really sounds like, especially with White as well, just like my speedrunner brain is going where I'm like, I wonder if anyone speedruns this version of it because of things like this, and if it changes like the tech of the run.
I don't know, maybe.
Or, because like just thinking about like how can we optimize stuff, and it's like there's just so many factors that seem pretty interesting on that.
There are several speedrunners who do the 3D version of 4 for sure. I haven't seen one though. It would be very interesting to look at. I think I've seen Blue Harvey running it recently, but I haven't seen anybody else run it ever. So
Interesting.
But yeah,
There's only 2 people on the leaderboard for the DS version. That's interesting.
are there PC ones?
I wonder what face they draw on White.
Any percent PC is 3.5, and the DS version, 8% is under 5 hours. So,
Okay.
all right.
Oh, another thing that I noticed just, I think from watching your stream, Curtis, where you're doing the homework on the 3D version. One thing that I really like about that version that they changed was when you open up the menu, it kind of shows one of your party members reminiscing to themselves.
They're like thinking about something.
Yeah.
It shows you their inner monologue.
So it's like when an event happened, it's
It
like
kind of helps give you direction of where you're supposed to go next as well. Like, I have to do this now.
I must defeat this antlion or something, or like I can't believe I wiped out that entire village by being a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I think here,
have to pee.
after seeing Rosa, Cecil does in the 3D version. He said something like, "Oh, we've got to get the sand ruby, or we need to head this direction." And then Rydia just says, "That man looks so sad," like talking about Cecil. So I thought that was a nice little touch. I will say too, by the way, because we have Rydia now in the SNES version, things are a lot cheaper, and so it's easier to outfit our characters. So it's easier to buy like a bow here for Rydia if you want to. She comes with a staff, but if you want to get a bow for her, you can do that.
Oh, she can use bow stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
I kind of I saw that she could equip it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'll buy that and try that. And I think she's not really like a physical attack person.
Yeah.
Like if she didn't miss, it didn't do all that much damage. But it was cool because like with the bow in Final Fantasy IV, you have to buy bow for like your left hand or whatever, and then for your right hand you buy a bunch of arrows.
Yes. Yeah.
So like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually like ammunition too. Like you will run out of them. You actually have to buy enough arrows to use.
Yeah, and we all know that the best Final Fantasy games are ones that include some sort of mechanic that has ammunition in it that you have to purchase and can use with a certain character.
Damn right. Yeah, so equipping Rydia is pretty easy in the SNES version, but in the 3D version, she doesn't come with several slots of armor. Like she doesn't have a helmet equipped at all. And she's considerably weaker, and you come by money way slower in the 3D version. So I was like, okay, well, the other one I didn't have to grind at all. I just left town and then went to the next area, but I had to sit there and grind for like 30 minutes and get enough money and levels to be able to continue on in the 3D version.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense. You're playing hard mode, right?
It's hard mode for the PC version, but it's the normal mode of the 3DS.
Yeah.
I basically made my own easy version using just some XP boosts.
Nice.
I don't blame
I
you
don't
a
have to grind
bit.
as much.
I don't blame you a bit. It's a little time consuming.
Yeah, it seems like it's not really like difficulty in the sense that it's just kind of like time wasting, where it's like it takes longer to
Unless
level
you
up.
get wiped out on the first square like Curtis did.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when we got to the next area of the game in the 3D one, I actually started having fun at that point. When we got the third character, I was like, all right, now I'm having a good time. This is fun now.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of leveling up just because I wanted to see more enemies and stuff, and also see what it's, immediately upon leveling up Rydia once, she learned like Ice 1, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So now she's actually like has a useful function.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to test out the call ability, and unfortunately it doesn't have Titan. I was a little bummed about that, but does have Chocobo.
Yeah.
So you just summon a Chocobo to come in and like kick one of the enemies or something.
Yep. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Also, I want to just point this out because it'll be important later. Notice Rydia's black magic skills as you level her up, right? So like she has like lightning. I think she starts with thunder. Or maybe she doesn't. She gets ice first. But either way, she gets ice and thunder pretty early on. And for the first several levels, Rydia just learns a new spell like every level. So she's like really expanding her abilities quickly.
Her repertoire.
Yeah, it expands really fast. But notably, no fire. Huh. She does not know fire. So I just figured I'd point that out.
Why would she? We fucking torched her whole town.
Yeah, I don't blame her. She's like, fuck fire, dude.
But
she's got to find Zuko to teach her.
Who is Zuko?
That's an Avatar.
From Avatar.
Okay. I haven't seen Avatar.
Never been embedded there. You should. It's good.
Good show.
I'll watch the M. Night
Good show.
Shyamalan movie of it.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's the best version of it.
That's the true.
Truly
That's
the
after
Final
years.
Fantasy VIII of
That's the after years of it. But yeah, after that, I think we can pretty much head to the next area, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, should we rest in the inn before we go?
I think so. You never know when the next time you'll be able to take a rest in this game is. So
Yeah.
Let's settle
All right,
in
well,
at the inn.
Let's go there.
Ticker to the end.
You find yourself in a desert.
Yeah, we're back in the desert.
Yeah, back in the desert. Sweating. Fucking climate change got us
This
all.
armor is making me sweaty.
Yeah. Oh, it's black armor too. It's just absorbing sunlight. Just cooking Cecil in there.
Yeah, that's gotta suck,
This
right?
armor is making me thirsty.
If anyone,
Yeah.
if anyone like tries touching him, they just immediately like burn the shit out of their hand.
Yeah.
Must be bacon in there. I do not want to think about what he smells like when he takes that armor off.
That's why he never takes it off.
That's right. Yeah, that's why he
He
gets
just
in bed
sleeps
with
in
it and
it.
everything. Yeah.
It smells like worse than like hockey equipment.
So we're heading to the what is this cave called? The water cave? That's not
in
right.
in Final Fantasy,
Underground waterway.
yeah, it's called the
Underground
watery
waterway.
watery pass in Super Nintendo.
Ah. Okay. Yeah, so heading up that way, we need to get to Damsien. We need to get to the Antlion's Den to
Is
get
it
the sand
Damsien or-
ruby.
Is it how you pronounce that place?
I don't know. I've been saying Damsien, but
Let me look it up right now. You might be right. It actually is. Yeah, Damsien or Damsien.
Damsien.
Damsien? Okay.
Or could be a Damsien, like the color.
Yeah,
That's kind
maybe.
of what I was thinking, but again, pronunciation is super
Damsien,
important.
actually.
I'm going to
kinda
call
has
it
a flow.
Damchan. Damchan.
Damushian.
Damchan.
Damushian. I guess you can look at the Japanese.
Damushian. Damshan.
Okay, so let's Damshan.
So we're going to
Damshan.
Damchan. We're going to Ram Jam. And
Going to Rat Jam.
we're going to Rat Jam. And the watery pass is in our way. So let's get on in there. And I don't think we pointed it out last time, but the theme for the dungeons in this game is a banger and it's great.
Fuck yeah.
Real spooky.
Really like it's so good. What is it called? I think I accidentally called it Into Darkness, but I think that's a Star Trek movie.
I think it's Into the Darkness.
Into the Darkness. Okay. Oh wait, maybe I did say that.
See, I've been thinking about this all day, and I was thinking about the theme in like the water temple area in Final Fantasy 1, which I think is just like the Chaos Temple theme or whatever, but it plays in the Sunken Shrine as well. And I was trying to find it on YouTube, and I couldn't just because I was like Sunken Shrine music, and then there's something completely different. But then I was like, no, it plays in both. I ended up finding it, and that song is a fucking bop.
Yeah.
Go listen to the Night of the Round version. It's also very good.
It's so good.
Hell yeah.
I thought we were going to use that for our intro for a while.
I almost
All
did.
right,
I, have
sure.
a I could maybe switch it up.
Hell yeah.
Oh, either way, it's fine. But yeah. So as
Night
soon
of
as
the
we
Round
enter,
don't miss, okay? They're all fucking gold.
it is true. But yeah, as soon as we enter, there's like two different ways we can go. The north route will take us to some treasure chests of like no import. Essentially, they're not like interesting.
Yeah.
But the left path takes us to something very interesting.
Hell yeah.
There's an old salty man there. He's an old wizardry man. And I love him. I love this man, by the way.
Yeah, he looks cool
He
as
is
hell.
fucking glammed out.
He is
He looks like a
glammed out.
glam Gandalf. Glamdalf.
Have you seen Amano's art of this character?
Oh no,
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
I have. I need to check
He
that
is
out right now.
reclining in the most sassy pose. It is incredible.
He's like the
Oh fuck yeah, dude, he's vibing.
he's like
he's
the
so
smoking
bad.
caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland if that caterpillar was his persona.
Yo, this dude
Yeah,
fucking
that's right.
rules.
Yeah. This
Just
is
the most reclined and relaxed and like he's like just stripes and pink and
Yo, the giant pink robes, incredible.
he is apparently the first Final Fantasy character with glasses.
I read that, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Also,
seen.
notably, our first playable... Wait. Does Rydia have a last name? Because I noticed that Tella does not.
Nope.
Rydia has a last name?
I think
Okay.
that also probably depends on version.
It may... Well, I'm going across any version. If any version gives you the last name, then as far as
Fair.
I'm concerned, they have a last name.
Yeah,
but
canon. That's why, as we know, Squall's name is actually Leon.
that's right.
He's got some kind of like John Lennon meets like Elton John kind of vibes, or kind of Bowie-esque.
Yeah.
Yo, hell yeah.
Kind of like whimsy, and he looks like he could be at a weird like stoner prog band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
like
a
his,
mage hand.
Yeah. He's got like big wispy white hair and a beard too.
He rules.
He rules.
I fucking
he
love
rules.
Of course,
But,
everyone who's played this game before knows we are, of course, talking about the character Penn.
Penn and Tella.
Oh, Penn and Tella. I didn't get it.
Yeah, we're talking about Tella. I was like, I hate myself that I have to make this joke, but I have to make this fucking joke.
Yeah, Tella. Tella rules. I love this
Tella
old man.
fucking rules. I liked your what's it called? Your caption for your stream when you were playing this part, Curtis, which was under my.
You can stand under my Tella A. But he sees us coming and he's like, "Oh, a dark knight. I need your assistance." Like he sees that we're a dark knight and is like, "Oh shit, score." And he has been trying to fight the beast that lives within the waterway, but to no avail. And he's like, "Oh, if I had your sword, then maybe we could actually beat this thing." And like, you know, we're trying to get through as well, so we're kind of like,
we have the same objective. So yeah, we might as well homie up with Tella.
Yeah, and he is here because his daughter was kidnapped or like seduced or by a bard or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. He
My
says,
daughter Anna was tricked by a silver-tongued bard.
A silver-tongued bard.
He's taken her to Damn Scion Castle. And yeah, and so
that's why he's trying to get through the waterway.
Those
is
fucking
to find his daughter.
silver-tongued bards will always get you.
In the 3D version, they call him a wicked bard.
A wicked bard, dude.
Like in the way that he's like sick, like he's good. Yo, that bard is wicked good.
Mr. Steal Yo Girl, this silver-tongued bard.
That's right. So he's trying to get his daughter back from this bard. He's trying to get through. He can't fight the beast on his own. And he also notices Rydia with us. And he like doesn't even have to ask. He's just like, I can tell that girl's a summoner. She's going to be a big deal. And that is a good thing that she's along with us.
Yeah, he's like straight up like Qui-Gon Jinn here, where he's like, there's something special about, like, the midichlorian count is off the fucking charts.
Yeah,
I know this fucking girl can pod race. She's gonna beat Sebulba, and it's gonna fucking rule.
We get some more of that later too. He like kind of goes on about her a little bit.
Credits will be fine.
Credits will be fine.
But we have Tella now, and
my daughter was stolen by a silver-tongued Tadarian.
But he's a real interesting character because he has white and black magic, and some decent white and black magic too. He has a lot of stuff ready to go.
Yeah, he was really helpful in here. And like, I remember I was playing this, I'm like, okay, it's a little weird that he's like, oh, I can't get through here on my own. I need your help. And I was like, this dude is like level 20.
Yeah,
like, I think Cecil at this point is like level like 13 or 15 or something, and like Rydia, is still like achieving her potential or whatever. So I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna help this guy. Like, this dude seems to have shit like locked down. And then like as I got further into this like area, I was like, oh no, this area is actually kind of fucking tough.
It can be, yeah, especially as you get further.
There's some
into
cool
it.
enemies.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to, before we get to the enemies, I do want to talk about two more things with Tella. One is his skill recall that he has. So Tella's thing is he's old and he doesn't remember all the spells that he's ever learned, right? So you can hit recall and he'll just pick a spell out of random and then cast it. So you may get something like, it'll basically pick from all the black magic in the game. So you could get something real nice. Like
that's
you pop
such
off
a
flare or
cool
something.
thing. That's so
It's
fucking
really cool. It's basically Clefairy's metronome, like from Pokemon.
Yeah.
But what I love about Tella, and I never noticed it. I read it online and I was like, what? And then I had to look when I was playing the game. This is the craziest fucking shit. As we go through the game with Tella, there will be moments where he dips in and out and learns things and remembers old spells. And so his spell repertoire is going to get better and better and better as we go. And I mean, he's going to be like pulling in damage numbers with the spells that he has. But I think it's implied that he's an old man. So every level he gets, he loses stats.
Whoa, that's
His stats
really
go
cool.
down instead of up.
I noticed that and was like, wait, why did I just like lose some like dexterity or whatever? Like, is he just becoming an old man?
Yeah, he's old, so he's like losing stats every time he levels up.
Right, yeah, he went from level 24 to 25, and everything, his intellect and spirit went up 1, but his stamina went down 1.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I didn't even notice that.
Isn't that wild?
I probably would have gone through the entire game without even noticing that until like
I've never noticed it before. Yeah.
Tella is just a fucking skeleton, and I'm like, that's kind of weird.
But I like that like they're telling you with the gameplay that like Tella is physically frail and old.
Yeah,
know?
that's really good storytelling through like mechanics, which I feel like is super rare for like that time that this game was made.
Yeah. Right.
Another interesting thing that I found out about Tella, I went to the watery cave immediately after going through it all on Super Nintendo. I went there immediately, like without even going through all of the stuff in Kaipo, just because I was like, I already know what's going on. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
And I went up to Tella, and he was like, I was just there standing in front of him, and he was like, yeah, get out of here. Like, he wouldn't let me get past. So he's like there, like, so the one guy who's like, oh yeah, there was an old man blocking my way in the watery pass or whatever. Like, that's also them being like, oh yeah, you need to do something first before you can get past that old man.
Wow.
Like, on the critical path, you're probably going to go to Kaipo first and do all of that. But like, you could theoretically like completely bypass that. But
Yeah.
you need a reason to go there to get the sand ruby. So they're like, no, you need to trigger the event with Rosa before you can talk to Tella and continue on.
Right. But yeah, what were you saying, Alex? The enemies in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of like water themed Emily's. A lot of water themed enemies. We got alligators, we got
we got alligators, so we got clams. We
got so many water creatures, you won't know what to do with them.
I kept coming across this interesting combo, which was it was like 3 fang shells and 1 amoeba.
I love that encounter.
It's super weird. So like these 3 clams, they look like clams with teeth.
Yeah.
They look like Water Temple Ocarina of Time enemies, like the fucking clams that attack you.
But it looks like the amoeba. There's like an amoeba in the back row that is kind of like acting like a support.
Yeah.
He like heals them or protects them and stuff like that. It's real wild.
If you kill all of them and not the amoeba, he can raise all of them and actually bring them back.
Oh, see, I saw him using raise, but it didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think it only pops off if all 3 of them are gone.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and that thing it seems like it has a pretty fast ATB, and it's always like doing support stuff. And like the clams, like the evil shell in the Super Nintendo version, like they're not too difficult to take care of. But this thing was like a damage sponge. Like it would usually like just end up running away from me, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah.
I always used a thunder spell on it, and that usually took care of it pretty quick.
Yeah. I think it took a couple thunder spells, but I might have also been using it with Rydia and like trying to save Tella's thunder.
Tella.
A. BB.
Yeah, they're kind of gross. A lot of the enemies in this passageway are kind of gross. I mean,
oh my god, can we talk about my least favorite set of enemies that pop up? The fucking zombies.
Oh yeah, those things are zombies. No, because some of them I think some of them are stronger.
Yeah, there's different colors of them, but like the thing was when I first got in there, I mean, it wasn't as bad when I leveled up a little bit and everything, but when I first got in there though, I couldn't do any damage to them. Like even Cecil would do the most damage to them at like 9 or 10 HP, and like I was like, well, they're zombies, so I'll use Cure on them. Yep. So I would like do a Cure on everybody with Rydia or something like that, and it would do like 1 HP damage, and I was like, well.
Yeah, I had to just use Tella to cure all of them, and it still like didn't kill them all in one hit.
Yeah.
Like those things are motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're tough.
I think I just used lightning attacks again because I was like, well, I'm already doing that in this place, and it seemed to do it because it looks like they are susceptible to some lightning damage.
There's someone else I want to talk about in here.
All right.
It might not be until later on in the area. I don't know if there's like this is a pretty like this dungeon is a lot bigger than the one that we did last week.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is in a later area or something, but this thing fucking sucked to fight when I first found it, and that is the tiny mage.
Tiny mage.
The tiny mage. Oh yeah, the tiny mage. They can cast mini on you and make you tiny. Or no, wait,
Yeah.
no. They cast frog on you. Is that right?
Well, there are frog enemies in here that will use frog.
Oh, okay. I guess these guys make you many.
So yeah, they usually come paired, I think, with Sahagin or water hags, which is
Yeah,
really good.
right.
But yeah, I like couldn't do any fucking damage to these fucking things. Like they have like if you try and attack them with like physical, I think. Or I think you have to attack them with physical, and if you do magic, it does like nothing to them. I forget how they work.
They counter. Well, yeah, let me see. Let me get the
Yeah, let
enemies
me read into it. And they also have Osmos. Or I forget what it's called in the Super Nintendo version, but they sap your fucking MP. So I was
yeah,
like,
and they can take like all of it too.
at the point I was in this cave and finding these things, they were just like sapping Tella of all his MP. I was like, no.
Woof.
And like, I think Tella has that ability as well. But when I did it with Tella, it was like, you got 4 MP. I'm like, great, thanks.
Yeah. Here we go. Tiny Mage. It counters all physical attacks with hold and all spells with Osmos.
Yeah,
That's what it does.
yeah. This thing was.
It
really
doesn't make
tough
you
for
many,
me.
by the way. It doesn't do that.
No,
I
but
was
there
thinking
is a frog enemy in this.
I was thinking of the frog enemies that turn you into frogs. Yeah.
And fuck those things. I remember one of them. I like in one of my playthroughs, I bought a Maiden's Kiss because I was like, oh, nice. Like I see this at the shop. It's not too expensive. It's always good to have one of these on. And then I like didn't get hit with the spell until I was playing the other one, and I was like, I have just the thing. And then I looked and I didn't know. I was like, shit, that was in my other version.
Yeah, I got hit with that a couple times. I ran out of Maiden's Kisses. But Tella had Esuna, so it was okay.
Nice, yeah. If he didn't get fucking osmosis out of it, osmosis jonesed.
Osmos Jones out of it.
But
yeah,
dungeon's pretty windy.
it is. It also has our first hidden paths too.
Yeah.
I found a hidden passage under a waterfall, as most video games should have.
Yep. That made me very happy because I'm always looking for that shit in video games.
Hell yeah.
And I will say this dungeon's kind of cool because like half of it is running around on like land. I don't know what you call it, like precipices and windy paths, and some
Or
bridges.
Yeah.
And then half of it is you're actually walking around in the water.
Yeah. More like a Pokemon cave where you have to surf or whatever to like.
Oh, I will say, in the 3D version, I like when if you go into the water and switch your on-screen character to Rydia, her mouth is just above the water level, so you just see the top of her head poking out of the water while she walks around.
That's very cute.
But of course, I used Tella as my main character most the entire time because I was like, look at this swag man go.
So in the 3D version, there are some like rest points that Tella finds, like we set up a little like campsite.
There is in the 2D version as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a little more story and also kind of gives us a chance to like restore all our health and stuff.
I really like this little this exchange because in the first one, Tella says that he brought a tent and we're gonna be allowed to use his tent, right? So it doesn't consume one from our inventory.
That's nice. A story important one.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. And
it would suck if like, well, we need to find a tent first.
Yeah, right. It makes you find a tent before you do it.
Yeah.
But we once we walk into that room, that little side room where there's a save point at, and we use the tent. It actually like cuts to a little cutscene at nighttime. It's kind of implied that we're like staying overnight in the cave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just like starting a fire in like a little safe chamber, I guess.
And he says the magic field of that save point repels all monsters.
It's just like a ward, yeah.
Yeah. But he mentions, he's like, yo, who is that little girl? Where is she from? And Cecil's like, the Mist Village.
He's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't sweat it. But he says, he's like, yo, she's extremely gifted. If she was properly trained, she could master any spell.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find out more about Tella, but he has like a bit of a thing about mastering extreme spells. That's kind of an obsession of his. But he says that because she's sleeping while Cecil and he are talking, and he says she reminds him of Anna when she was little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Anna also has magic.
And also has magic, yeah. And he says again that his daughter eloped with a bard to Damsan because I didn't consent to their union. And he asks us, why are you going? And Cecil's like, oh, a friend of mine has the desert fever. We need to get the sand ruby. And Tella's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be rough getting that sand ruby. And Cecil says, okay, well, what about this monster that's in the cave? What's the deal with it? And he says, a vicious creature with 8 huge tentacles. We must kill it quickly and reach Damcian before it's too late. And Cecil says, too late for what? And Tella says, I don't know. I only pray that my instincts are wrong. And I was like, oh no. I like that. But I like that little exchange. I thought that was nice, like character building for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think he has that that little bit about being like, oh, I hope my instincts are wrong and stuff. Like, I think he's just like, oh yeah, it's like we have to kill this horrible monster, and then that will help us save Anna and your friend.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the 3D version, he said, I pray these premonitions of mine are only an old man's fretting, but if they prove true, our time is short.
I hope it's just the sweet, sweet embrace of senility and not anything ominous.
Oh, it must just be my stats going down again. Oh, winter's coming. I can feel my attack stat.
Storm's coming, Annie. I can feel it in my HP.
Yeah.
There are some good treasures later on in the in the cave, though. One of which is an ice rod, which works very similarly to the items that we've had in Final Fantasy 1, where you can actually use them to cast spells rather than having to use magic. So, like, that's nice if it
doesn't break, does it, after you use it?
As far as I know, it doesn't. I've been using it a bunch. I don't know if it has like a single use per battle or anything. I don't even think it has that. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I was just rattling off some blizzard spells, which isn't great in this cavern because everything's weak to thunder, but it was nice to have like on a turn where you're like, okay, well, I don't need to like waste MP on these enemies with their HP. Now I can just, hit them with ice one or whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of battles, I noticed in the 3D version, I'm not sure if it's like the 2D versions, but you can customize and put anything on your menu for each character, which is really cool. And like you can just say like magic, like attack, and then you just like, okay, I actually want third slot to just be potion. And I
really?
Oh, that's really cool.
You don't have to like go into your items menu. You can just like put an item you use a lot just there
really?
on your little hotbar. And it makes like things super easy. Like Rudy is getting freaking beat so much. I need like just have like one of these just on like every screen.
I had no idea.
It's super handy. Just like you can add abilities and items as just normal. Like you can just customize. Yeah, you customize your action menu.
That's so
That's
cool.
amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to try that out probably after we're done with the pod. We also get pretty much a full set of new equipment for Cecil.
Yeah.
And it's significant because like Cecil is already kind of like the damage guy. And I guess Tella is now too. Tella can really like throw some numbers up, but like Cecil's still just like a truck comparatively like to the other two.
Yeah.
And now we're getting like new weapons for him. We get the Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
Like, fucking badass. Also, notably, all the weapons that Cecil gets has the dark status on it, so like it does dark damage.
Yeah.
They also have different models in the 3D version, so it actually looks a little different, which is nice. I wish your armor changed appearance too, but
that would be cool.
Can't everything.
Speaking of which, we do get replacements for his armor, so we get the Hades set if we look around.
Yeah.
And we get it in like different pieces. There's like the Hades gloves and Hades armor and the Hades helmet.
Boy.
Hades nuts. So
yeah, I don't think it's called Hades in the Super Nintendo version, but it's darkness or it's some variation of like what he already had.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's also an iron ring that we can get. Like I was saying, there's some hidden passageways up in the last part of the cave here, where you can kind of like
black,
take.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
They just like so you're just walking around in basically pitch black.
Oh yeah.
For certain parts of the map.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I will say on the SNES one, it's like a slightly different color of black.
yeah. So you can kind of tell, which like I wouldn't have found that otherwise. I wouldn't even think of that. I mean, I guess if I was trying to explore to find the treasure chests and stuff that you can reach with that, like maybe. But I saw the additional like the different colored thing, and I was like, I can go there. And then like I didn't see it on the PSP or the Vita, I should say. And I was just like, I'm gonna go through here.
But what's interesting is after another decent bit, and I will say this too, there's something else about the cave that I really like. On the screen before we leave the cave, there's actually like a giant chasm, and I thought it looked really nice. Like it made me feel like I was in an area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it made it feel real in a way.
I do appreciate that every floor in this cave has a very kind of slightly different feel, so we don't feel like we're like going in circles.
Yeah, it's really nice because like, I mean, the SNES obviously is like considerably stronger than the NES as far as that goes, but like it's still very challenging to make a dungeon feel real with like a limited sprite set, and I feel like they do an amazing job of it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, everything has a kind of a different personality. It's neat.
Yeah. But before we fight the monster or anything, we actually emerge back on the overworld map. We get like a last chance to like tent up and save and everything.
Yeah, which is handy because again, like these encounters, if you're not running away from them, they can really like sap a lot of your magic. And when you're going up to a boss fight, you want to be as well equipped as possible.
Absolutely.
Also,
there are some ethers in the cave that you can use for that, but you're right though. You don't want to be just using ethers all the time.
But I think, when I saw ether, I was like, this is expensive. I don't want to use this, you know?
Yeah.
But another thing that I don't know if we mentioned yet on the pod is if you run in this game, you're likely to drop some gil.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not free to just run away because like, you know, you might not, but a lot of times that I've done it, I've been like, ah, shit, there goes like, 40 gil or whatever, or 100 gil.
Yeah, it's true. Yep. So we're able to go into the last section of the dungeon, which I like. I like because even this part of the dungeon has a different feel to it. There's a lot more water in the last two rooms.
Yeah.
And we also start encountering alligators here.
Yeah, this last final room, or at least the entrance to this last cave area, like it has this kind of big splayed, like it has an interesting like footprint, and then you have to like jump down a waterfall. So no turning back now, and so this was like our last chance to save.
Right.
Before, and we jump down, and then we're doing I think another screen, right?
Yeah, there's like one more screen we have to walk around, and it's also the last screen that counts toward map completion percentage. Because the actual screen with the boss does not count toward map completion.
Which makes sense. It's kind of just like an arena that you walk through.
Right. I think I got 5 antidotes.
Oh, yeah.
Completed it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything too... you mean for the...
For the map completion. Yeah. It wasn't anything too amazing. Also, I did pick up some Zeus's Wraths, which I was like, ooh, a multi-hit lightning item. Like, that's going to be handy for the boss coming up. Yeah. And, like, everybody's normal attacks pretty much did more than it did. So, like, it's fine. It wasn't nothing, but it wasn't a ton. Anyway,
some flans.
Are there flans in here? I didn't run into one.
Yeah, I ran into some, like, fire flans. They're not called flan. They're called moose.
Moose? Yeah, red moose. What do you know?
Yeah, not flan. They're moose.
That's incredible.
But yeah, they're basically just fire flan, but they're called moose in this one, which is
that's awesome.
More tasty.
I think there was another item that we got as well, right? That I don't know if we talked about, which is the Hermes sandals.
You can pick up the Hermes sandals, indeed.
Yeah, which I think just casts haste, right?
Like auto haste or whatever.
I don't know.
Like an item, a dispensable item.
I will click it.
Grants haste to the target. So I think it's a consumable item that allows you to... You put on the Jordans and you can run faster.
Gosh.
Single disposable Jordans.
Yeah, so in the last room, in the final one, like I said, on the 3D one, like the map is already there. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say this too. I'm sorry. One more aside. Last time, on the last episode, Alex, you asked me if the 3D Steam version shows the map and the action at the same time because of how the 3DS does it with the two screens. And I said no, but the answer is yes. Like it does do that. It actually overlays it. I guess like the last time I played it,
FF7 Overworld style, where it just kind of like is a transparent overlay.
Yes. So it actually does that. I think last time I had like opened the map and then didn't try to move around, but you can move around. So like it does show you, which is very handy for getting the map completion. Anyway. Final area already has the map completed, and we're standing in front of like a giant waterfall underground, right?
Yeah.
And
And there's some noodles in the corner.
there's some noodles in the corner.
You were getting some
And,
ramen.
Yeah. and as we approach it, we get a little
The noodles.
as we approach the noodles. Well, I mean, and also there's one tile in the middle of the waterfall that I think is kind of like, oh, this is where you're supposed to go. It kind of like looks like the path forward.
Yeah.
So as we approach that point, Tella says, "There he is! Watch out!" And we are forced into our next battle. Or I guess the two noodles come running at us from both sides, and then we're in our next battle.
Yeah,
with,
in the Super Nintendo version, he just says he's coming, and then like other tentacles surround us, and then Tella just says, "Octomam."
Yeah, Octomam. And that is who we're fighting. And I guess it's short for Octomammoth.
Yeah. So
that's the full length in my version.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
In the complete edition, it is Octomammoth, but in this, it's Octomam with MAMM.
I really like the 2D sprites for it, but let me tell you, I love the 3D model for it. I love the 3D model for this boss so much because it's not looking at us, it's looking at the user. It's looking at the person playing the game, and it has like a derpy ass smile on it. It's just like, "Durr," like it looks so funny. Like,
Yeah,
I love
it almost looks like one of those like troll faces from like early
Yeah.
internet of just like it's like the
Yeah.
you mad bro fucking.
Oh, yeah, we gotta make one of those for the Twitter. I love this.
Problem.
I feel like this is like the proto Ultros from FF6, like silly tentacled thing with a big dumb grin on it.
It's so good. I love it.
I
so
love
much.
this. I love this thing. And like in the 3D one, it doesn't move its eyes together; they're kind of independently, which like makes it look even sillier. Like it's very goofy.
I love the one picture that you made. I forget where you posted it, but it was just Octoman with like a flat brim, I think, with or like a,
with
or
the
like
New
a
York
Yankees cap.
Yeah. Somebody posted, was like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't Photoshop Tim's on every one of its tentacles."
I kind of want to give the I kind of want to Photoshop it to have like the fuck boy like half mouth smile thing, like
Yeah.
the half biting the mouth. Fucking
Yeah,
thing.
no, that would be great.
Totally got that energy about it.
Oh my god, I love this thing so much.
Yeah, this thing's great.
And it's kind of interesting. It has a couple interesting things to it. I like that in the SNES one, I feel like this is the first time I'd ever seen anything like this in a video game. As you whittle its HP down, it removes tentacles, but the tentacles shift around into a new formation.
Yeah.
So it like looks really neat the way it's done.
Yeah, so it's got like several forms technically in terms of like the
Yeah.
sprite.
Yeah, until it has 2 left, I think, and it goes from 2 to being defeated.
I'm looking at its eyes, and its eyes on the 3D version just look like something that from Invader Zim because it has like 2 little rectangle pupils.
yeah. It has like the rectangle pupils like Invader Zim, yeah.
it's
Dude, I love it. I love it.
It's a real good sprite.
It's super good. The wiki, by the way, I don't know, like I didn't find any of this text, but I guess it's in there somewhere. But according to the wiki, the Octomammoth was once an ordinary octopus that was mutated by underwater experiments. And I was like,
Of course.
I talked to everybody, but I didn't see anything about underwater experiments. And does that mean like experiments on things underwater, or did they go underwater to conduct the experiments? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's so weird.
Or
if that's an after
Octomammoth
years.
was an ordinary octopus scientist that transformed itself? I don't know.
Got bit by a radioactive octopus.
That's right, yeah. But it's a water boss, so Thunder's gonna tear him right up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rydia Intel can put out damage. If you're playing the 3D version, by the way, and you use Darkness on Cecil and then attack, I did like 500 damage, which is like twice the amount Tella was doing with Thunder. I was like, holy shit!
Damn, hell yeah.
Yeah, he rolls out numbers big time.
Yeah, I feel like this fight, it wasn't really all that difficult. I noticed that like when
Yeah.
you get to its last form, I think it takes a couple more hits than the others, but that also might just be, I don't know really how the mechanic works of like if each phase or whatever has a certain threshold of HP and then it refreshes or anything like that, or if it's just like maximum amount of HP.
Yeah, I think once you pass a certain HP threshold, it'll go to its next quote unquote form. It'll just show the different sprite. But I will say, as it loses tentacles, it does power up. It starts to get better and stronger physical attacks.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it only has physical attacks. That's all it does. It doesn't actually do anything that interesting.
Yeah.
It just does progressively larger amounts of damage.
The after years, there's one called Cooler Mammoth.
I wanted to talk about that. I was going to be like, what is cooler than the Octomammoth? The Cooler Mammoth. From the after years. I was like, what the fuck?
That's Octomammoth's brother. And they're,
Cooler.
They're both the princes of their father is King Cold.
Yeah.
Is that the name of Frieza's dad?
Yeah.
Yes, King Cold, Frieza, and Cooler. God,
oh my God,
Dragon Ball Z
Alex,
naming is so stupid.
Did you put those? How did you put those tentacles in there? What are those from?
I just uploaded them from the wiki and put them as our emojis in our Discord. Really,
oh, that's so sick! Hell yeah!
Well, you heard it here. Join our Discord, and you can use Octomammoth's little tentacles.
I'm gonna send you guys the image of Cooler Mammoth, and you can tell he's cooler because it totally looks like he's just like doing like a fucking like a fadeaway fucking free throw.
It does look like he's doing a free throw,
sinking a fucking like.
Dude, that's incredible.
He looks like the fucking mayor of
Kobe.
Halloween Town and from Nightmare Before Christmas.
God, look at the 3D Octomammoth. I cannot get over that.
Oh yeah, that's real good.
Oh my God, the Wii sprite is gross. I didn't know there's a Wii specific sprite.
I didn't know that either.
This thing ugly.
Oh yeah, it's kind of sickly looking.
It's kind of shitty.
Oh yeah, it's still doing that fadeaway shot though.
Yeah, it's still got game, but.
Anyway, that's for another episode.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what though? Look at this fucking the Amano art for it.
That's what I was trying to find, and I couldn't find anything. Yeah, post that up.
I got it. Let me post it real quick.
Oh, you know what? I did see this somewhere, but I couldn't tell if that was like deviant art from the thumbnail. That's really cool looking.
So here's basically what we're trying to say about Octomammoth. Octomammoth as a boss, not that amazing.
Boring,
just
forgettable.
Forgettable. Use darkness. Use thunder attacks. Just cure with Rydia every now and again. Whatever. Art-wise, though, incredible.
Best boss. Probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy bosses ever. Looks great.
Absolute legend.
It looks. Oh, you know what it fucking looks like? It looks like a boss from Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Dude, that's so badass. I love that thing. Anyway, I can't tear my eyes away from it. I actually have to close this tab so that I'm not looking at it anymore because I will not be able to continue on.
So then what happens?
The Octo Dam. Then we fucking whip its ass and we get a couple levels.
Hell yeah.
That's true.
Loving that. And then we exit the cave. That's the end of the cave. Right?
Yeah, there's an exit, right?
Yeah, it's right behind where the first tentacle that we saw was, in that like one little conspicuous tile that wasn't the what's it called, waterfall? I almost called it an elevator. But what is a waterfall but nature's elevator?
A backward nature's elevator, yeah. Well, I mean,
I guess it's more like an
Minecraft,
escalator because it only goes one direction.
That's fair.
On the DS version, this room is part of the map completion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought
got 3 Zeus's Wraths.
Interesting. No, this one was already completed for me. I promise. I swear to gosh, it was.
Okay.
I wonder if they changed it for the Steam one.
Honestly,
because it does seem like they made some differences in the Steam one.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like there's no 2 versions of this that are like exactly the same.
You did say that.
In literally like anything. Yeah. After the fight, Tella in the Super Nintendo version just says, "Now we can go to Damsian from behind this waterfall. It leads to the exit."
Yep.
And then we are back.
And I just walked out and saved and turned it off.
Is this Octomam someone's Eidolon in that city too?
Oh no.
Oh my god, no.
We never learn.
We killed
we just keep getting orphans.
There are now 8 orphans that
oh no.
are not the darlings of the paparazzi in 2009.
Came back around. I like that. But that's where I saved. That's where I stopped.
Yeah, I think that's as good a place as any.
Before we hit Damsian, we can save that for next week.
Yeah, it sounds like
what are we going to be covering?
We're going to be covering that silver-tongued bard, I think, right?
Oh,
That we all know and love.
he is silver-tongued, he is wicked, and he is spoony.
You could say he was born with a silver spoon in his
Ooh.
mouth. So he's still silver-tongued.
All right. So next time we'll be covering Damsian and the Antlion Cave.
Yeah.
And just FYI, we are going to save the return to Kaipo, because after the Antlion's Cave, the next thing you do is just go back to Kaipo and then give the you go back to Kaipo. I don't want to spoil it.
I think what I'll do is I'll just go back to Damsian instead, actually.
There you go. Yeah. But we're going to save that for 2 episodes from now. So we're going to end with exiting the Antlion's Cave next. And that's it.
Yeah. Sounds
We
good.
just keep killing monsters.
Killing monster. We're just fucking this is Monster Hunter, baby.
Yeah, we have no fucking like hesitance at all either, which like Alex just pointed out, we probably should because
Yeah. we have a bad history with this thus far, yeah.
Well, as far as I know, we're not carrying any bomb rings. I'm assuming the bomb ring we had is no longer with us, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
it's a
just
shame.
blew up.
It would be funny if just every major city you went to, just like, I can't. Why can't
Imagine
you
if every major
it
city
blows
you
up
went
again.
to
You're like,
blew
I
up.
meant to throw this away.
I think our days of seeing exploding cities is over. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All Final Fantasies. It's done.
Yeah.
Those days are behind us.
It's all uphill from here, y'all.
Yep. Yeah. So that's that, baby.
I'm glad that we have a competent party now.
Yeah, I know. I tell you what, when I got to the end of the cave, I was like, yo, the game is so much more fun on the 3D version now that I have like a decent party. Because before I was just like, ugh, this is a slog. But like it's actually like starting to be pretty fun.
I'm excited to see if I can buff out my white, and I'll let you all know how that goes.
I'm curious to see how Sans gets, yeah. Do you think you're gonna have a bad time?
Oh, I don't know.
When
I'm sorry, I actually haven't played Undertale.
Okay,
I'm a
well,
fake
yeah.
friend.
when you said buff out your white, I think is the terminology that you just used.
Yeah.
For some reason, I completely forgot that thing's name is White already. And I was just like, does he mean he got a white mage and he's going to be leveling it up for some reason? I'm just, be right back.
Or
That's
is that
what
like
I,
a euphemism of
that's-
some sort?
That's what I did in Final Fantasy X. I just buffed out my white, like just Yuna became my fucking heavy hitter.
It's incredible. Yeah. Any announcements?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I have two announcements. One, the final Mage Hand show. So I'm in a band called Mage Hand in Philadelphia. I feel like we're like, without tooting our own horn, I feel like we're a staple of the Philadelphia math rock scene and like just crazy shred scene. We're going to be having our very last show September 11th at Milk Boy. Doors at 7, show starts at 8, $12. So it's going to be a good time. It may sell out. Like, that is a distinct possibility that there will not be an infinite amount of tickets. So get some tickets online. Come hang out in Philadelphia, say hi. We'll talk about Final Fantasy while the other bands are playing. Haha. Take that,
we'll
other
talk
bands.
about it while Curtis is playing.
Yeah. I'll talk about it in between songs.
Who else is on the bill?
Countdown from 10, Rally
Hell yeah.
Point.
Yes.
Who else? There's one other band on that show too. Who was that?
Kenny G.
Kenny G is on there.
No, Kenny F.
Kenny
Kenny F. Right? Yeah.
Black Dirty.
Oh, the Black Dirty.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be
That
Black Dirty.
band rules.
Mage Hand, Black Dirty, Countdown from 10, and Rally Point. All
Okay.
very good.
I played a
But-
show with Black Dirty before, and my band was significantly not math rock, and it was actually me and Hamilton Howley's band, and we saw them and we were like, bro, what the fuck? This band's insane. They're so good.
Sick. Well, yeah, it's gonna be a great show. So come out to that. That'll be fun. The other thing I was gonna announce is that earlier today we got 3rd place on the Sailor Moon.
Yeah, all
Story.
3 of us, we did it.
We did it. So that's exciting. So I'm probably gonna start trying. I think I'm gonna go for the world record, boys.
Yeah, you should. You can
Wanna
fucking
go
get
for
it.
it?
And then
I got
Dr. Mustache will take it from you.
Yeah, I know. I got 17 minutes I got to shave off, which is quite the amount. But
I feel like
think
it'll
it's
take
doable.
some luck, but I think you can do it from what I've seen of the run.
I think I'm gonna have to like draw like spiritual energy from the FF9 community, because like the FF9 community is just like, yeah, I'll put 8.5 hours into a game and then not save before death guys, who 50% of the time will just end the run. So like I need to like pull their emotional energy together and be like, yeah, I'm just not saving. I don't care if we die on this one. We need good time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
It's like any time I get a death in Demon Souls, well, I'm like, well, it's not even worth fucking continuing the run. I just need to get a deathless one.
Is that it? Anybody ever have any announcements?
As some of you may know, we have a hotline you can call 1-800, not 1-800, at 530 Materia. You can leave us a voicemail or text us. So this is a recording from a caller.
Hi guys, I just wanted to share a funny story that I still think about every time I listen to the podcast. I started listening to you guys back right after you started in the Final Fantasy VII days, and after one episode, I went to look up what you guys look like, because I like to imagine people actually speaking, when I'm listening to a podcast. Somehow in my mind, I got Curtis and Carl's pictures switched in my mind, and so for far too long after that, I was imagining, when I'd hear Carl speak, I was imagining Curtis' picture and vice versa. And so I still think about that all the time, imagining your voices swapped. I also had another thing I wanted to mention. Back when Curtis was doing a randomized Final Fantasy IX run, and I was on when he got to the part where he got Quina in the party. And I had suggested to name her Renoa, and Carl had gotten on the chat not too long after that, and was just cracking up about it, and I still think about it all the time, so it's still funny to me. Anyways, I love the show, you guys. Thanks. Look forward to more.
Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you so
was.
much.
I think that was
yeah.
Amart. I think that was Amart.
Oh, nice.
Aww.
Yeah, hell yeah, Amart. I hope that was Amart, because we're like giving Amart a shout.
Yeah, we're giving him
That's
credit,
so
and then it turns out to be somebody else.
I should be so lucky to have Curtis's voice.
Well, I think this means that Curtis should make a new VTuber that looks just like Carl.
Yeah, and then I'll use Curtis's sick current VTuber.
Yeah.
It'll be a VTuber hand-me-down.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for the call.
So good. Yeah, thank you so much for the call. That was super good. And also, yeah, I had in true Carl fashion, I'd completely forgotten about Curtis naming Quina Renoa, but that is so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's 530 Materia.
530 Materia.
Yeah,
Leave us a
call in.
message. Alex, would you like to draw a Sans face on us?
Thank you to Night of the Round for the theme music. Again, super cool. Go listen to their music in the show notes. We have a link to their Bandcamp. This current theme is from their War of the Triad collection, which I think is like 3 or 4 songs from 4, 5, and 6.
It's a great album.
Hell
It's
yeah.
so thick. There's so many. It just got like, it's the best of these SNES musics.
Yeah.
It's so good. Thank you to Nobuo Uematsu, Junya Nakano, and Kenichiro Fukui
Kenny F.
for the game music.
Kenny F.
Yeah, Kenny F, the man. Leave us a review on iTunes. We are currently in the top 200 in the video game category in the US, which is wild. I think that just people are apparently a lot of people have been waiting for us to come back.
Yeah.
Take that, everyone else.
Unbelievable.
200th place. That's almost first.
201st place is the first loser. Yeah, come visit us on every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. We have a Discord, which you can find in the link in any of our, I think, descriptions in those. They made us a link tree, so it's easier to find all that stuff.
We need to make a God, what the fuck did they call them back on like GeoCities? A web ring?
Yeah, maybe.
Make a web ring of all of our links.
But yeah, and as always, show up.
Show up.
Just show up. Bye.